Ladies and gentlemen, you know what's been drilled into us for generations? That a woman needs a husband to be whole, to be validated, to find meaning in her life. Without a man, they say, you're incomplete. Well, let me tell you something right now, that is a lie. There is a woman out there walking alone, and she doesn't need a man to define her. She doesn't need a husband to complete her, she's complete already. And if you think for a second that walking alone is a weakness, then you need to wake up. Because the woman who walks alone is a force to be reckoned with. For too long, society has tried to tell women what they should be, where they should go, and who they should walk alongside. The narrative has been written for us marriage children settling down and playing by everyone else's rules. You've heard it all, you need a man to feel complete. Your worth is tied to your relationship status. These messages are everywhere, trying to fit women into one narrow box. But here's the reality: the woman who walks alone is not an outlier, she's a revolutionary. She doesn't need to conform to anyone else's idea of success or happiness. She's redefining what it means to live fully, to be powerful, and to own your life. The idea that a woman walking without a husband is somehow incomplete, somehow lacking, is a lie that needs to be broken. A woman who walks alone is not missing anything, she's whole. She is not waiting for someone else to validate her existence. She is her own validation, her own compass, her own source of power. I think about this, the world has been telling us for generations that we must be accompanied, that we must have someone by our side to be truly happy or successful. But who made those rules? And more importantly, who said we had to follow them? The truth is, the woman who walks alone is the one who has the courage to reject those outdated expectations and step into a reality where she is the author of her own story. She's not looking for permission. She doesn't need anyone's approval. She's already writing her legacy, one where independence, strength, and self-determination are the ultimate markers of success. And the moment she steps into that power, the world begins to see her differently. Because a woman who walks alone isn't just surviving, she's thriving, blazing a trail for everyone who dares to do the same. She's not an exception, she's the future. Solitude is not a weakness, it's a weapon. It's a choice, a powerful one. While the world around her buzzes with noise, distractions, and opinions, the woman who walks alone understands something many will never grasp: there is incredible strength in being alone. In that space of solitude, she has the opportunity to strip away the clutter of other people's expectations, to silence the outside world, and to truly hear herself, her thoughts, her dreams, her desires. This is where she reconnects with her deepest purpose. In solitude, there are no distractions, no false narratives being imposed on her. She doesn't need anyone else's validation because she's become her own best friend, her own ally. She has learned the art of standing alone, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. And that's when the magic happens. It's when you discover what you're truly capable of, when no one else is looking, no one else is talking, no one else is talking, no one else is telling you what you should be. You can hear your own voice loud and clear. Some of the most successful, impactful people throughout history were not surrounded by others every step of the way. Think of the pioneers, the disruptors, the creators. They spent countless hours alone thinking, planning, strategizing, and working on their craft. Why? Because solitude is where the real work gets done. It's in those quiet moments when the world slows down that a woman learns to trust her instincts, sharpen her skills, and build the foundation for everything she's about to accomplish. A woman who walks alone is not running from life, she's running toward her future. The solitude allows her to face herself honestly, without excuses, without relying on anyone else. She learns her limits and then shatters them. She learns her fears and then overcomes them. She pushes herself to places others won't even dare to go, because she understands that growth is not found in comfort. It's found in the willingness to face the uncomfortable truth that only when you walk alone can you truly see what you're capable of. And here's the thing, there is power in that. It's the power of having your own back when the world tries to tear you down. It's the power of knowing that no matter what life throws at you, you have everything you need to rise above it. The woman who walks alone is stronger than any one person could ever understand because she's built herself from the ground up. And in the process, she has discovered that she is, in fact, unstoppable. For centuries, society has crafted a script for women, one that says you must fit into neatly defined roles. Get married, have children. Be the perfect wife, the perfect mother, the perfect caregiver. The message has been loud and clear, this is the path. This is what success looks like. But let me ask you something, who decided that? Who said that a woman's worth could only be measured by her relationship status, her ability to settle down, or her role as someone's partner? The truth is, those expectations are not your truth. They are someone else's invention. The woman who walks alone has understood something crucial. The path that was laid out for her was never meant to define her. She is not bound by the past or by other people's outdated ideas of what it means to live a fulfilled life. She has rejected the chains of conventionality. She has torn up the script that someone handed her, and she's writing her own. She has found the courage to live on her own terms, and that's something powerful. For so long, women have been taught that their value comes from their connection to others, particularly to a man. But this woman has realized that her value comes from within. She doesn't need someone to complete her, to validate her choices, or to tell her what her future should look like. She defines it herself. The world might tell her that she's incomplete or that she's missing something, but she knows the truth. She is whole, she is strong, and she is more than enough just as she is. The expectations that society places on women are designed to limit, not liberate. They want to keep you small, keep you in a box where you're told how much you're allowed to achieve, how much you're allowed to dream, and how much you're allowed to dream, and how much you're allowed to desire. But the woman who walks alone is broken free from that box. She doesn't need permission to dream big, to achieve the impossible, or to create her own success. She is rewriting the rules, turning the pages of her life with intention and without fear. I think about it every time a woman chooses to walk her own path. She is not just defying societal expectations, she's showing the world what real freedom looks like. When you stop asking for permission, when you stop apologizing for your choices, you start to realize that your life is yours to shape. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you're not following the conventional path. You don't owe anyone an apology for deciding that the rules they gave you were never meant for you. There is immense power in rejecting the idea that you have to fit in or follow a preordained life. The woman who walks alone knows that she doesn't need a partner to feel complete. She doesn't need a label to prove her worth. She doesn't need a marriage certificate to tell her she's successful. She's building her own success, her own identity outside of society's narrow confines. She understands that true greatness comes when you stop limiting yourself to the roles and expectations that the world has assigned you. This is not about defiance for the sake of defiance. This is about taking control of your own destiny, about taking the reins and saying, I get to choose what my life looks like. I get to decide what's important to me. The woman who walks alone doesn't need validation from others because she knows the most powerful validation comes from within. She's rejecting a system that has never truly empowered her, and in doing so, she is empowering herself. She is free. And that freedom, that's the kind of strength that changes the world. Self-determination is the foundation of true power. It's the ability to make decisions without needing permission from anyone, to move forward without waiting for external validation or approval. For the woman who walks alone, it's not just a concept, it's a lifestyle. She wakes up every single day and chooses to live life on her own terms. She's not waiting for the world to tell her who she should be or how she should act. She is the one who defines the rules, who decides the direction, and who builds her own path forward. Think about what it takes to live with true self-determination. It's easy to be swept along by the current, to let others push you in the direction they think you should go. It's easy to follow the crowd, to do what's expected, to live by the standards that society has set out for you. But the woman who walks alone, she doesn't follow the crowd. She creates her own way. She doesn't let the opinions of others dictate the course of her life because she knows deep down that no one else can define her worth but her. This is not about arrogance. It's about owning your choices, your actions, your future. She doesn't wait for life to happen to her. She doesn't sit around hoping for opportunities to fall into her lap. She creates those opportunities. She wakes up every morning with the knowledge that she is fully in control of her destiny. She's not looking for permission to chase her dreams. She's chasing them on her own terms. Self-determination means refusing to be a passive participant in your own life. It means deciding that you will not be defined by circumstances or by the limitations others try to place on you. It means taking responsibility for your choices and for your life's trajectory. It's about standing tall and saying, I am the one who will shape my future, not anyone else. Not the opinions of others, not the standards set by society. It's my life and I'll live it the way I choose. The woman who walks alone isn't afraid to take risks. She's not sitting back and waiting for everything to align perfectly before she takes action. She knows that sometimes you have to make your own opportunities. She knows that nothing worth having comes without effort, without stepping into the unknown and taking risks. She isn't waiting for someone to hand her success. She's working her ass off to earn it. In fact, the more self-determined she becomes, the more she realizes that she can create anything she sets her mind to. She doesn't need to wait for a partner, a boss, or anyone else to validate her success. She builds her empire from the ground up. The woman who walks alone is not defined by the roles others expect her to play. She defines herself through her actions, her achievements, and her relentless pursuit of her dreams. There's also a deep level of personal power that comes with the ability to take ownership of your life. The moment you decide that you are in the driver's seat, that you are responsible for your future, is the moment everything changes. You stop looking for answers outside yourself. You stop waiting for someone to give you permission to succeed, to thrive, to be everything you were born to be. Instead, you step into the full power of self-determination and understand that you are the architect of your own reality. The woman who walks alone isn't just out there existing, she is actively creating. Every decision, every action, every moment is hers to control. And when you live with that kind of clarity, with that kind of purpose, there is nothing that can stand in your way. No obstacle, no challenge, no judgment from others can shake her resolve. Why? Because she knows, without a shadow of doubt, that she is the one who decides her fate. She doesn't wait for life to happen to her, she makes life happen. Self-determination is the ultimate freedom. It's the freedom to live authentically, to take bold risks, to trust your instincts, and to know that you don't need anyone else to validate your existence. You don't need anyone's approval to rise to greatness. You are your own source of power, your own reason to believe in the impossible. And once you tap into the pure, unshakable power of self-determination, nothing can hold you back. You are unstoppable. Emotional independence is one of the most powerful forms of freedom a person can have. It's the ability to stand strong within yourself, regardless of what's happening around you, regardless of other people's actions or what the world may throw your way. The woman who walks alone understands that her sense of worth, her emotional stability, and her sense of peace cannot be tethered to anyone else. She doesn't depend on someone else to lift her up or to make her feel complete. She has learned to stand on her own emotional foundation, built brick by brick through years of self-awareness, and inner strength. When you depend on others for emotional validation, you give them the power to control your happiness, your peace, your sense of self. And that, my friends, is a dangerous game to play. The woman who walks alone refuses to give that power away. She knows that no one else can give her the emotional security she needs to thrive. She knows that only by mastering her own emotions, by controlling her own response to life's ups and downs, can she truly become unstoppable. Emotional independence doesn't mean shutting yourself off from others or becoming cold or unfeeling. It's not about building walls, it's about building resilience. It's about understanding that your emotional state doesn't have to be dictated by anyone else's actions. If someone doesn't treat you the way you deserve, it doesn't shake your confidence. If life hands you challenges or setbacks, it doesn't unravel your sense of self-worth. You are not fragile. You are strong enough to weather any storm, strong enough to keep going even when the world seems to be crashing around you. This independence gives you a freedom that so many people will never experience. When you are emotionally independent, you don't tie your sense of value to someone else's opinion of you. You don't need anyone to approve of your choices, to approve of who you are. Your worth is intrinsic, not external. The woman who walks alone has a quiet but powerful confidence that radiates from within because she has discovered that she doesn't need someone else to define her. She defines herself, her worth, and her life. Consider the freedom that comes from knowing you are emotionally self-sufficient. You no longer have to wait for someone else to make you feel worthy, to make you feel loved or important. You've already given yourself those things. The woman who walks alone doesn't let the ups and downs of life derail her sense of peace. She doesn't let the opinions or judgments of others keep her from walking in her truth. She has found a place of emotional security that is rock solid, no matter what's happening outside of her. This emotional strength doesn't just empower her, it gives her the ability to make clear-headed decisions, to take bold risks, and to lead with confidence. She doesn't have to second-guess herself because she knows her own worth. She is not afraid to make decisions based on her own needs, desires, and dreams because she has nothing. The woman who walks alone is not just living her life, she is creating a legacy. She is not simply surviving the days, marking time until something changes. She is out there building something that will last, something that will inspire others long after she is gone. And she does it with the quiet confidence of someone who understands that true impact isn't about being noticed, it's about making a difference. It's about living in such a way that your actions ripple out, touching lives, breaking barriers, and changing the world, even in ways you might never fully see. This woman's legacy isn't defined by conventional measures of success. It's not about how many followers she has, how much money she makes, or the title she can claim. It's about the trail she blazes for others to follow. It's about showing up day after day with unshakable determination, with the courage to face every challenge, and with the strength to keep going when others would have quit. Her legacy is built on the values she stands for, the courage she embodies, and the power she holds to redefine what it means to live a life of purpose and passion. She shows the world that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to success. The woman who walks alone is a leader, whether or not she seeks that title. She leads not by demanding attention or following the traditional paths of influence, but by being the embodiment of what is possible when you take control of your own destiny. She leads by example, by showing others what it looks like to carve your own path when society tells you to follow the crowd. Her actions speak louder than words ever could because she proves that greatness doesn't come from fitting into a mold, it comes from having the courage to break it. Her impact goes far beyond the circles she personally touches. When she steps into her power, when she leads with authenticity and purpose, she creates a ripple effect that reaches into the lives of everyone who witnesses her. The woman who walks alone is not just a figurehead, she's a force that ignites something in others. She makes them believe that they, too, can break free from the chains of expectation. She makes them see that they don't have to wait for someone to give them permission to live their lives, to chase their dreams, to be bold in their choices. She inspires others to be leaders in their own right, to take charge of their lives and to make their own mark on the world. And the most incredible part, she doesn't do it for recognition. She doesn't do it for the applause. She does it because it's who she is. She is driven not by ego, but by a deeper sense of purpose, knowing that her life can be a beacon for those who are still searching for their path. Her legacy is not in the trophies she collects or the accolades she receives. It's in the lives she touches, the hearts she stirs, and the minds she awakens. Her impact is in the belief she instills in others that they can achieve the impossible, that they can break the chains of limitation, that they too can create something lasting. The woman who walks alone doesn't wait for life to give her permission. She takes charge of her own destiny and builds something that outlives her. She leaves a trail of courage and strength behind her, paving the way for future generations to walk with confidence, to lead with integrity, and to never settle for less than what they deserve. This is a woman whose impact transcends time. The legacy she creates will live on in the stories of others, those who watched her rise, who witnessed her struggles and triumphs, and who, because of her example, dared to rise up and lead in their own way. She is not just a woman walking alone, she is a woman leading alone, showing the world that the most powerful leaders are the ones who define their own path, who stand unwavering in their truth, and who understand that their legacy is not about the number of people who follow them, but the number of people they empower to stand on their own and walk beside them. So let me leave you with this: the woman who walks alone is not lonely, she is free. Free from the constraints of society's expectations, free from the need for validation, and free to create a life on her own terms. She doesn't need a husband, a partner, or anyone else to complete her. She is complete, whole, and powerful just as she is. And in her strength, in her independence, in her unwavering belief in herself, she is not just living, she is leading, she is inspiring, and she is leaving a legacy that will echo for generations to come. The world may try to tell you that you need someone else to be successful, to be happy, to be significant, but the woman who walks alone knows the truth that true power comes from within. You have the ability to write your own story, to build your own future, to lead your own future, to lead your own life. You are enough. And when you embrace that, when you realize that you don't need anyone else to define your worth, that's when you unlock your true potential. That's when you begin to walk your own path unapologetically, boldly, and without hesitation. So to every woman out there who is walking alone, who is creating, who is leading, keep going. Keep blazing that trail, keep breaking those barriers, and keep showing the world what is possible when you refuse to settle for anything less than the greatness that lies within you. The world needs you. Your legacy awaits.